So how are you doing, man? How are you holding up?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm doing okay now. It was very you know, um raw for, a few days, and now it's just sort of like um dull, dull sadness kind of thing, So,
Yeah,
um yeah, I mean, I can just for the purposes of this podcast, I can just say, we keep the show evergreen as much as
yeah,
possible. We try not to bring in the outside world too much because of that. But sometimes things happen where it's, you kind of compelled to talk about it. So
yeah.
I can just lay out here for our thousands of fans out there that
Yes.
yeah, on August 29th, a couple of weeks ago, my mom passed away. Um, she had been sick for some time. Um, she she was diagnosed back in the winter with what was it called, small cell carcinoma, I think. And I think that I know it was in her lungs, and I think it spread to her liver. But she went through chemo and radiation and had started immunotherapy. Excuse me. But during that process, she's been dealing with COPD for the past couple of years, and I don't know if COPD and emphysema are the same thing. I think they might be related if they're not.
Okay.
And I know that a couple of years ago, she told me that she was dealing with pulmonary fibrosis as well.
Hmm.
Which again, I don't know how all those things are related, except that they're all bad things in your respiratory system.
Right, right.
So when she was doing the immunotherapy, she had some complications from those conditions where they needed to take her off of the immunotherapy and give her like oxygen. She went to the hospital. This, for 6 months, it's just been treatment, and we've been continuing to go out to breakfast and lunch, and and everything seemed fine. They suppressed all the cancer that she had. There
Right.
wasn't any indication of it in the scans. But I guess this particular one is very hard to detect because it's so small. So they have to do routine scanning. Um, excuse me. So anyway, so she started to have complications from the immunotherapy. So they took her off that to try to get the issues under control. And I guess in the course of that, it had come back to some extent. And then, I mean, like, I don't know, two Wednesdays ago, I guess, like it just, everything just fell apart, just unraveled very quickly from,
Hmm.
you know, there's potential for progress to just like, boom, in a couple of days,
Yeah.
So, excuse me. Because the last time I saw her was a couple of weeks ago. It's probably 3 weeks ago now on a Sunday. And I went over and she was back from the hospital before she went back to the hospital. And she was the same, as chipper as she ever was, just,
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, she was eating lunch and watching TV and reading the newspaper and stuff in bed. But, I just sat there for about an hour and had, talked to her and just bullshitted, because I'd gone on a hike. So I was talking about that and joking about getting her out there to do some hiking. Um, that's just the sense of humor. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
let's get you well so you can go do a half marathon or something,
Yeah, exactly.
So at any rate, yeah, so that it all came apart very quickly there at the end. And the thing is, like, my mom smoked for years. I think she started in college, maybe.
Oh, I
You
didn't
know,
know that. Yeah.
yeah, and she quit in 1997 when her mom died from smoking related issues.
Okay.
So she hadn't smoked in almost 30 years. And I honestly think that probably bought her time, which was good,
Right.
because I mean, she would have been 79 this year at the end of the year, so she
Oh,
was,
wow.
yeah. So, and up until this year, with the exception of those things I mentioned, everything, the health's been pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so, I feel like that bought her a lot of time, and she was able to, get to know my kids, beyond just being babies and stuff.
Yeah, no, that's
Um,
great.
yeah, and develop relationships with them, and they've got memories and everything. So I mean, it's all, that was the right decision, even if it was made that late.
Yeah.
And and that's the only thing. The last time I saw her, she was like, "You make sure no none of those people, none of your kids are smoking. Don't
Right.
smoke. Smoking's
Yeah.
terrible. You always hear it. And I smoked for a while, and I quit. In my 20s.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did because it wasn't easy, you know. I did it
Yeah.
twice. I mean, I quit twice. It was tough, you know, but
Yeah.
that's what I would pass on to anybody else out there is, you know, don't fucking smoke, you know.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
good.
Don't even start because it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I mean, you know, you hear about people who are like, I smoked every day and died at 95, but it's like some people's bodies are okay with it, and some people's bodies are not. And you don't want to be one of those people,
Yeah.
who's not. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
all of my grandparents died from smoking related issues, and
Oh, jeez.
you know, so it's like, guess my family is not the kind of
Yeah.
are
Oh,
good for
God.
it. So, but yeah,
Oh,
so
man.
I will say in relation to this show, she loved this show for whatever reason. She was a big fan of what we're doing here.
Yeah.
The last one she watched actually was the one where we bleeped out all the profanity. So that was like, it's kind of poetic, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad she
Uh,
got to see that.
yeah, me too. I was hoping to show her the rough cut of the one with Kelly, but
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
it just wasn't meant to be. But
Yeah.
I was happy that she was able to see the one because, like I told you at the time when we were doing that, I think she thought it was funny. You know, that, you know, we went to the effort for one thing. It's like, well, that was all Chip. You put a lot of effort into that. So it's just, you know, just one of the kindest and sweetest people I've known. You know, I'm very lucky to have grown up with her as a parent. Very supportive. You know, we all, you know, everybody's parents have their, you know, their drawbacks, if you will. I'm not going to sit here and act like, you know, everything was peachy keen all the time, but
Right.
you know, as you said when when we were texting about it, you know, she's very supportive of the things you do, you know, just posting messages of support, you know.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, man, when you gave me the news a week and a half ago or whatever, I mean, my heart broke, man, because I mean, I haven't seen her probably in years.
Yeah.
But she's always been, you know, always interacting with me on social media and reacting to my posts and been so supportive. So yeah, it came as such a shock, man. I mean, it hit me hard, and my heart goes out to you and your whole family, dude.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I can't imagine, you know, I mean, I'm fortunate my parents are both still around right now and in fairly good health. So I can't imagine, I can't imagine what you're going through right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very surreal, you know. It's like, I don't know if it's a defect in my brain, but like I, from a very young age, have thought about the point where my mom would not be around anymore. And I think it's probably, everybody maybe does that. It was probably exacerbated by the smoking. I'm sure that, you know, at a very young age, I was aware that that was not good.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I said, I feel sad because, you know, she's not going to be around anymore. I don't feel tragically sad because, again, like I said, my mom was almost 80 years old and she lived a very long time and she did a lot in her life. I mean, she did, you know, I didn't even find out until this past week that she was like voted most likely to succeed in high school, you know.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I say that she probably told me that and it just went out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
so I either discovered or rediscovered that fact this past week. But you know, I mean, she had a career. You know, she was a federal employee for many years. You know, she got her graduate's degree when I was in elementary school. You know, she did not take no trash from nobody, even though she was very nice. You know, she was also very sassy and very, very quick with a sarcastic quip. You know, so you know, it's interesting. My parents were married for 55 years. My mom actually died on their anniversary, on their 55th anniversary.
Oh, God.
Yeah, my dad was 21 when they got married. These lunatics got married after 3 months. They knew each other for 3 months and they got married. And they stayed married for 55 fucking years, man.
I feel like that's how it was back in the day, man.
Yeah.
I want to say, I think my parents only knew each other for a few months before they got married. It's like, you people are crazy.
Completely nuts. And they, and your parents have been married forever too, you know? It's just,
exactly.
and it's interesting as you grow up because like my parents never really, they never really argued in front of us. They made a point of not fighting in front of us. And I never saw them like genuinely fight about anything. I would see them get on each other's nerves as I got older, you know, like,
Right.
for instance, my dad has tinnitus or whatever in one of his ears. He's had it since I was a kid. You always knew which side to be on because it's like when he was driving, he could hear out the side that was pointed towards everybody.
Okay.
The other side, not so much.
Okay.
And as he's gotten older, his hearing has degraded.
Yeah.
He wears hearing aids and whatnot. But like we'd be going out to breakfast, like we say like a year ago, we go to breakfast somewhere. And my mom, well, not even a year, just anytime we go out to eat or something, my mom would just invariably choose the wrong side. And I'd be like, what side is the bad side? And then she would say something and he would completely miss it. And she would interpret it as him ignoring her.
Of course.
She'd get upset. And then she'd get his attention and he'd be like, what? And then she'd say it again, but she'd say it quieter. Like I could tell it was quieter. Like, you people are fucking crazy. I'm just sitting there on the other side of the table. It's like, these are like cartoon characters. Yeah. You know? But, you know, there'd be something like that. And then, like, you know, 2 days later, I'd be out. You know, I have a very distinct memory of, you know, trick-or-treating with my kids a couple years ago. And my parents came along with us. And we're just walking along doing the trick-or-treating thing. And I'm, like, stressing out because, you know, one of my children was real anxious around dogs. So every single house, he's worried about dogs and all this stuff, you know, it's very whatever. And I realized at one point, like, I don't see my parents, they kind of lag behind, you know, when I turn around and they're just walking down the other side of the street holding hands, you know, and it's like, they've got these two people in their 70s who've been together forever. This sweet little scene where they're just walking along holding hands, you know, and it's just, you know, that kind of encompasses their whole thing, you know? And so anyway, I don't want to take the entire thing up here talking about that, but I did want to make that public and just share a few thoughts. Yeah. And I really appreciate your friendship in this time, and I appreciate this show and what we're doing here because it gives me a chance to talk about something silly and stupid and nostalgic.
Exactly.
You know, and just share some time with my buddy here. So
yeah, man. And like I said, man, I'm here for you anytime. Even if, you know, jump on the phone, whatever you need, man. I know I
appreciate it.
You know, 2,500 miles away, but you know, I'm only a phone call or a video call away. So
yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Anything you need, man.
Thanks.
But yeah, she will definitely be missed, man. I was saddened to hear that, and I was going to suggest, I mean, it's up to you, but if you want to dedicate this episode to her, you know, we can put something in the credits. Again, because she was so supportive of this podcast. one of our 3 listeners, dedicated listeners. Yeah, she was great. She was great.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.